Hello everybody, welcome to the Decks of the Weekend, where every week I explain to you the decks that caught my attention and why. Let's start it always with Modern. Last week Modern had a boom of Hammer Time decks with over 5 among the 2 challenge top 8, whereas this week 0. So pretty impressive. The Modern metagame shifts so much. Last week we had very little living end. This week 4 with the winner of the Showcase Challenge. So I'm analyzing the most important decks with events, which are the 2 Modern Challenge that happen every weekend. But this time on Saturday we had the Showcase, 380 people with 1 by living end. You're gonna see the video later in the week. I want to also tell you that next week I'll be going to Croatia for my first holiday non-magic related in I don't know how long. So I'm trying to set up a video every day on the channel. That's what I aim at doing. All right, let's get into the modern decks of the weekend here. It's Yorion Glimpse Elementals. So I've played with Elementals with Glimpse of Tomorrow on the channel already. I thought the deck was very good. Check it out. This deck, though, is different. It has Yorion Sky Nomad as a companion. We're very used to see Yorion Omnath deck, but we're always used to see them with Ren and 6, whereas this deck can't play Ren and 6 because your goal is to play Charlotte's Agent, Outburster, or Ardent Plea to put into play, or rather to put on the stock Glimpse, which will reset a lot of your permanents. Remember, you have Wave Sifter, you have Fable of the Mirror Breaker. You can do this combo thing, but you can also just be a mid-range deck with 4 Endurance, 4 Reason Reef, and so on. You have 4 Cavern of Souls to make your elementals uncounterable, which is a big deal against the blue-red Murktide decks, which is, of course, you're lacking the early interaction, so like something like a turn 1 Ragavan might be a little bit more annoying, but you do have Soicid and Fury to deal with it. But you have this like very good late game of just Cavern of Souls making your 5 drops uncounterable. It's a very big deal. Saber 4 Obsidian Charmal, it's an interesting choice. But again, this is not the old Glimpse deck that we used to see with the Dark Dwellers. Is slightly different, but still very effective at doing the things that Yorion Omnath does. This deck came 9th in the challenge. I always try to get something in the top 8, but really in this 2-day event, with the second one won by Yawgmoth, some of the... Basically, I always try to pick up a deck that isn't well known. It isn't a top 15 deck in Modern, because we all know the top Modern decks. If you're on my channel, you probably have a good glimpse of the format. So speaking of good glimpse, so I decided to bring you a different deck every time. Last week I believe it was Enchantress. This week Yorion Glimpse Elementals. This deck is cool, eh? I actually believe that. I don't know if it's with Yorion or without, but even if it's without, I do think that Glimpse of Tomorrow is a very underrated Cascade card. Of course, Prey of the many Flusterstorm around, but you can definitely do a very good B plan with this 4 Endurance, 4 Fury, 4 Solitude, 4 Cavern of Souls plan. Let's get into Pioneer now. We have a very sweet deck in Pioneer. This deck top 4'd the challenge on Saturday, and it's strange. It's very strange. So it's playing Burgi. Now there's a lot of things to say. So this if you don't know what's going on here, I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. Green and Ignis is a card from Future Sight. Love this art, reprinted in Strixhaven. What Green and Ignis does is that together with Burgi, you do infinite spells, because you have Burgi in play. You play Green and Ignis, then you pay 1 mana, you return it to hand, you add 3, and then you cast it again, and because of Burgi, you'll add 1 mana. So you do this forever. You don't accomplish anything just with these 2 cards in it, but obviously you're gonna build your deck in order for to do something with it. Let's start with mana. You can get 2 infinite mana thanks to Azoret Monument, since red spells will cost 1 less, so you get infinite red. Or you can get infinite mana with Runaway Stimkin, because the Green and Ignis is an elemental, so you'll get infinite red mana. If you have Azaret Monument, you don't only get infinite red mana, you also get infinite loot, because whenever you play a creature spell, you may discard a card if you do draw a card, and you get to light up the night, and you just shoot your opponent with a big fireball. If you have Devilish Valet in play, you win the game attacking with it, because whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you double the amount of power. So if you already played your light up the night, you can just loot for this creature, cast it, loot again, and then attack. On Magic Online it will be a little bit annoying, but it does work that way. Or you can have Reason Reef in play and draw not infinite cards, of course, because you deck yourself, but draw an amount of cards that will just, again, assuming you don't have any more mana left, because this thing, like if you have a Reason Reef and you do this Grand Ignis thing forever, you can just draw a bunch of cards and you go to discard because you're tapped out. But it's still pretty cool that Reason Reef in play with Burge in play with Grand Ignis can do that. I don't think that if you have no mana left you can do anything, but maybe I'm wrong. You have Collected Company and Llanowar Elves and Elvish Mystic. So those are the, core of the deck, the one that kind of make the whole thing work, because it's a lot of mini combo that just die to removal. You have Prosperous Innkeeper as well to gain infinite life. That's also relevant. Gigante is your companion, pretty relevant, but why not? When you bring in Chandra, it's kind of weird, but yeah, definitely a cool deck. I might also bring this on the channel. The more I talk about it, the more I want to try it. Unclear if it's good. Most of this deck is Explorer legal, I believe. It's only the elves that aren't, but of course the elves are a big deal, and whenever they're not legal, the deck is always going to be worse without them. Let's hop into Legacy now. This is a deck that, whenever I play it, a lot of people like it because it's the quote-unquote budget deck of the format. It is, of course, super expensive, but still worth saying that, Blue-Black Shadow is a thing in Legacy, and if you have only a couple of Underground Sea, what could it be? You can. This deck is a good choice. The person that played this deck is one of the best Magic Online player, DM4X, and he decided that the Blue-Black Shadow was a good choice. You have cards like Snuff Out, which lets you cheat on manas, same thing as Daze and Force of Will. Your large creatures are 1 Angler, 3 Murktide. Angler being a red Elemental Blast proof is a cool thing. You have 1 Dress Down to combo with your Shadow in case you don't play Modern. If you attack with a 13, if you attack with like a 2/2 Shadow, and then your opponent doesn't block, you can play Dress Down, and the Shadow becomes a 13/13, and they take 13. But yeah, the rest of the deck is very much similar to a blue-red Delver, with some Court of Cunning in the side, some Surgical. There's Turak. This is an interesting one. It's gonna be good against the Jeskai control deck for sure. So this is the Legacy deck of the weekend of choice. I don't see Plague Engineer. Never mind, I do. Plague Engineer, very important. Elves is my pet deck at the moment in Legacy, and Plague Engineer is a card I don't want to see. And also one of the reasons why Elves is doing so well is that because the black decks aren't very popular, so there's very little Plague Engineer, but obviously that can change with, you see this deck with 3 Snuff Out and 2 Plague Engineer. I think it could be okay against Elves. You're still obviously weak to Alazar Shepherd, only 1 push. So if you just, whatever, we're not here to talk about Elves. We're here to talk about Blue-Black Shadow, and the classic question that I get, what if I don't own any Underground Sea? What if I own 0 Underground Sea? You can go ahead and play Island and the 4th Watery Grave. Like, I don't think it's a crime or anything, but obviously this deck list is the final goal, so whenever you are detaching from this list, your deck is going to be weaker. But, I mean, it's a good point of start. You only need to buy Forces, Wasteland, and I guess Dates and Snuff Out. It's not cheap as a budget option, but you're getting to play with blue card, so that's definitely a great thing, since this is playing the blue cards in Legacy is the place where you want to be. Definitely, if you are trying to maximize funds. Of course, dual lands are expensive. We all know that, but yeah, that's it. Magic Online, they're not expensive dual lands. There's other things that are expensive, but they mostly come from the more recent sets, like Licensed Earth and Shredder are some of the most expensive cards on the program. Boseiju, I think it's actually the most expensive card. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll try to... I won't be here next week, but every day you have a video on Mango YouTube channel. Bye.